All right, it's time to make our view for the tic-tac-toe game. All right, so let's take a look at our specifications first. All right, so you can see the screen here and then some specifics. So first of all, so we are just going to fix it at 3x3. So this is not a sort of totally general game of tic-tac-toe, just 3x3. It's going to be centered in the screen. All right, so right here, and we're going to have a 20 pixel margin, 20 dps all the way around. All right, so on our sides here. We also are going to have the state of the game is going to be up here. So as we can imagine, that guy is going to be a text view. We want a 24 point. We want it bold so it shows up a little bit better. The game state is one of these various things. Good to know, because these are going to turn into our strings that we use in our program. We have a new game button below, and it's going to be right aligned with the table. So we want these guys right here to align right up on the right, and relative layouts are going to let us do that. We want red background. In fact, this is going to be Rose-Hulman red right here, and we'll have some gray text. I'll give you those. And then finally, the buttons here, I just fixed these at 100 pixels high. It was an easy way, at least on my screen, to make it look like a square. You can choose something different if you want on the device that you're using. For mine, it worked out well to have 72 pixel high text for the X's and O's. Okay. Again, you can see that we got stuff centered, we got stuff right aligned, we have this guy above the other one. Definitely a relative layout to use. All right, so I'm going to give you the strings in this one. Whoops. I'm going to give you the strings because they actually need to match what's in the model. So the model is actually going to return different strings. So we're going to have to make these guys line up. So what you're going to want to do is to grab these right off of here. So feel free to just copy and paste them off here and into your program. I'll do that now. Okay, so I'm opening up values, strings.xml, and I'll just take this whole thing and just replace it. Okay, so I got new game text here, and I got the different game states, and then I have something including a tie game, and then I have a space just as a little space holder for for when there's nothing there. Let's do the same thing with colors. Not too worried about this. So colors, what I chose to do to get sort of Rose-Hulman colors was I actually set the primary colors that they gave me just to black, and then I added a background color. This is Rose-Hulman red, so this 8000. And then the accent color I just used was a light gray, so red, green, and blue in equal proportions is going to give me something that's grayscale. So I chose to use C. So let's go ahead and do that for our colors. All right, so inside colors.text, again, I just set the primary and this other guy here just to black. So set these guys to 0. I guess this accent color here, this is the one that I used with the light gray. And then I'll create one more, which is my background color. And we'll let this guy be Rose-Hulman red. So that's 80 00 00. All right, looks good. All right, we're ready to start building the thing. Just to give you a heads up, kind of where we're going with things is that the XML is going to look like is going to have relative layout with basically 3 things in it. Right. So the buttons are just going to be a table layout, and then we're going to have a text view above it, and then a button below it. All right. So just like that, really those 3 things, and we'll drill down into each one. But essentially, the layout here, table layout is going to have 3 rows. Each row is going to have 3 buttons, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to give them all IDs that are hard-coded to their position in the array, right? So 0 0 is going to be the upper left one, 0 1, so row 0, column 1 is going to be the second one, and so on for those 9. So let's see. Table layout, again, we're using this for our matrix of button. There's going to be some things we're going to have to know about this, how we're going to get them to stretch out and everything, to fill our space. So we're gonna set the width and the height. It's going to be centered. We're going to give it a margin, as we said, and there's going to be this stretch columns right here that we will set to do the right thing. So I think it's time to just go in and make this thing. So let's do it. In my layout, activity main, formatted it. let's go to town. Your choice as far as what order you do things. I'm going to put things in as I remember them and take a look at it and see how it's coming. So I know that my relative layout, I'm going to have to add a color in here. How nice of it to even preview that color for me. So we'll go ahead and put that guy on there. Wow, really didn't want that guy in here. Okay. And let's see, so I got a text view. I might be able to use that, but let's see. I want a table layout first. So I'm going to grab a table layout and see if I can get this guy centered. No, there we go, center that guy right there. All right, looks great. Table layout is going to have rows in it. So inside this guy, let's see if I can pull in a row. Table row. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Now if I pull this in here, what's it going to do? All right, so it actually gave me, wow, it gave me a lot of table rows, nested and everything. Let's undo that. I think that when we try to use a table row, that this is telling you like something about how many rows you want. So I'm going to try 3 here, see if that does anything better. So now we have table row with 3, still nested. I'm not quite sure why it did the nesting there, but really all I need is those 3. And it turns out, when it really comes down to it, what I'm going to do is just make 1, because I can copy and paste that one. All right, so let's see. It looks like I'm going to mess something up here. What do we got? So I have my relative layout. Let's see, and then I have a table layout right here, and then a table row. Oops, an extra closing tag. I'll close that guy. So drag and drop isn't always the best thing, but it often helps us with stubbing in some things. All right, the table layout is going to be centered. Let's see, I don't need to refer to it directly in code, but I am going to have things that are laid out relative to it, so I'm going to give it an ID, control space, and we'll just call it table layout. It's the only one, not to worry about it. So I'm going to have a margin around this guy, so layout margin is going to be 18. We said it's going to be 18 DPs, like that. And I also want it to stretch the columns. Well, we'll come back to that in a minute because we probably don't understand why we need it yet. Okay, so that's good. What else do I have? Let's see. Again, nothing much so far. Let's go ahead and make a table row. And so the width and the height are going to match the parent. That's what it thinks. Inside here, let's put a button. And if we just click button, let's see. Sometimes it's good about stubbing in the height and the width. The height on this guy is going to be, again, 100 dp, like so. You need to give it a width. So the width is going to be, I'm going to have this guy right here. Let's see. Well, I might be able to get away without anything. I'm going to put wrap content for now, but I think the table layout stretch columns is going to handle that. It's going to get some text in here. So let's go ahead and let's set the text to be the string, just the space. What else do we need? I need a text size. Oops, colon text size. And text size we said was going to be 72 scale independent pixels, like so. All right, and it's going to need an ID so I can refer to it in code. So Android ID equals, let's see, so ID, and we'll say that this first guy is button 00 in the upper left. And if I take a look at it, actually I have my 1 button here, so that's decent. So let's go ahead and I'm going to find the easiest to copy and paste this guy. So grab that guy on your clipboard, paste, and change your button IDs. Since there are 3 of them are identical except for the IDs, I think that makes sense to do. And there we see that we have our table row as so. Pretty decent. What else do we need to do? So let's go ahead and I'm going to grab my whole table row got it formatted here. I'm going to grab the whole row on my clipboard, and I'm ready to do this whole thing here. So paste to be the second row, paste to get the third row. It's complaining about duplicate IDs, but let's go ahead and fix those. So I want up, this is my middle row right now. So my rows are going to be 1, columns will stay 0, 1, 2. And then the last one, 2 for the bottom one, 2, and 2. Take a look at this guy. Not too bad. It's not actually really filling the what I want it to. So that's a setting that I need to do back up in the table layout, is to set an Android, and it's a parameter stretch columns. And this will tell us if you want to stretch them to fit. And then here you would give which columns you want it to fit. I want all of them to be stretched equally, so I'm going to use a wildcard right here. So this, just use the asterisk, and we should see that fills up here. Okay, for some devices that'll work out nicely. Others maybe not so much, but that's what I'm going to use for this. Our text is up here. That's not a very good place for it. In fact, our board is up too high as well. So what happened? Center horizontal and vertical. Yeah, it was supposed to do that. Let's try moving the text view down. So what I want to do is actually take this guy and move it below my table, because I want its location to be relative to the table. So what I'll say for this guy is that it is layout. I want it above the table. So even though it's above doesn't mean it goes first, right? It depends on what's anchored, right? So the table layout is anchored in the middle of the screen, and then the text is relative to it. It's above it, so I have to put it later so it can refer back to something that already exists. So it's going to be above ID, and this is going to be our, whoops, keeps doing this on me today, ID table layout. All right, and if we look at that should be a little bit better, except that guy is still showing up too high. Why is this? What did I mess up? I'm sure I messed up something here. Yeah, I think I see it here. So my width and my height of my table, I'm having these guys match the parent, and that's it's trying to make the table fill the whole screen, and I certainly don't want the height to fill the whole screen. So let's try that guy. Yeah, there we go. It moves it down. Okay, and this guy shows up above. Let's keep it above, but let's go ahead and move it over so that it's centered horizontally, and that should stub that in for us. Let's finish the text view here. So we got to give it, so text, certainly we want some. All right, text. I'm going to have it be the string. So we're going to start off with X's turn. I need a size on this. So text size on this guy is going to be 24 SP. And then in the spec I said that I wanted it bold. So text style can be bold. And see what this guy looks like. Oops, I don't have an ID either. So let's go ahead and give this an ID so we can refer to it. So the ID is just going to be, again, I'll reuse the same name that I used in one of my other apps, the message text. Let's see what this guy looks like. All right, so this is better. So I'm going to go ahead and build the project and take a look at this. Whoops, I need to check the color too. It's supposed to be gray. Android text color equals color, and that was going to be, I think that was the accent color. Yep, that's it. There we go. That looks better. All right, one more button to put in, and we'll be done. So let's go ahead and grab a button, and that's actually not too bad. You see, it says that that's aligned right, and it's below the table layout, which is really what I want. And again, that just put in the particular properties on this button, as so. So what do we got? So it's going to wrap things. That's okay in this one. I don't want it to take up the entire bottom or anything. The text on this, I think we had a string for that. And let's see, did we or not? I guess. So it should be the new game one. We have an ID on it. That's called button. I could be a little bit more descriptive here. We call it the new game button, like so. And that's probably good. All right, looks pretty decent to me. Let's review, make sure we didn't miss anything. So we have a layout margin here. We talked about stretching the columns in our table, and we gave it the right height. Yeah, that's right. I've forgotten this. So technically, we didn't need to give it the width there because of the stretch columns. So we could have just omitted the button's width, altogether if we wanted to. So that's all we got for this lesson. See you next time.